Hello, everybody. Aboruboye, Aboye, Boshishe, and I'm welcoming you all to this explanatory broadcast. Today, I will talk about Oturupon Meji. We posted a notification and requested people to make explanation of their understanding regarding that particular Oduifa. I strongly believe that dressing in a metaphysical way shouldn't be the basis of spirituality. And it's a shame, it's a shame. It's a shame that something as simple as those kind of Odu is now looking so metaphysical to our people. When we raise generations of those of black people, black children who knows, who can recite Psalm 23, who can talk about Psalm 91, and the rest of them. As a matter of fact, it seems like a shame if you are an African and you don't know Romans chapter 1, verse this, Ephesians chapter that, blah, 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 blah. We were used as a tool of satisfaction by both the society and also our parents. We were raised as a means to the ending of their own happiness. So if you are an African child and you come from a Muslim home and you don't know Surah to Fatiha, or you don't know Surah to Yasin, or you don't know Tabati Yada, or you don't know your Tira, which is also known as Torah, but the Jewish people, they Alif, Ba, Ta, Sa, and the rest of them. Seems like you are a failure. And they begin to sing a song, you are a failure? It was rudimentary and very primary for us to go to Ile Keu. And also, if you are a church goer, you have to know in the beginning God created this blah blah thing. And you see a black child speaking and strongly quoting verses of the Bible, surah in the Quran, with utmost confidence and without mincing words, and they always get it right. We have quizzes centered around the book that is not concern us. And people want to talk to you and they say, according to the book of Ephesians. My question to them is, haven't looked at me from head to toe. Do I look like I came from that sort of town, city, nation, country, continent? It doesn't seem like it. And my belief is, even the people in Rome, they don't read the book of Romans. Do they? I don't think they do. And if you start to hijack someone's letter, reading to yourself, you are a bandit and a criminal. I was talking to someone earlier. The person was talking to me saying, I said, okay, in the book of Revelation also, seems like, okay, let's accept that Jesus came back from the dead. And while I was talking to someone that I was going to send, he wrote a letter to 7 churches. And none of this was addressed to any church in Africa. And look at me, I'm from Western Alkebulan. I'm Ijebu Ode by birth. And my own great ancestor is not even Odudua. My own great ancestor is Obanta. Because you share the same language doesn't mean you must know where you came from. So my ancestor, my great ancestor, is not even Odudua. My ancestor is Obanta. And nobody is talking to me about Obanta's letter to the people of Ijebu-Ode. But you need to talk to me about the letter of Paul to the Roman. Why are you stressing my life? And it became imperative for all of us, or very important for all of us, to really know the messages of our ancestors to us in this dispensation. Are you getting the point? The purpose of learning Oduology is not so that you can gallivant. It's not so that you can crown yourself as an herbalist, spiritualist, a specialist. The real essence of learning Oduology is not so you can be given a title, Babalorisha, Yalorisha, Babalawo, blah, blah. No. The essence of learning Oduology is so that you would know the letter or the teaching of your ancestors to you as it applies to your life, because there's nothing new under the sun except you align to each other. Oh, money. Ẹ̀sùn ìbanilórúkọjẹ́ tó fi kàn ẹ́, wọ́n ti fi kan àwọn kan rí. Ẹrù olè tán dìlé lórí, wọ́n ti dìlé àwọn kan lórí rí. If it is barrenness, somebody has been barren before. If it is poverty, your ancestors, they know people who are poor, even poorer than you. So when you try to check your story outside your own locality, your race, and your own origin, you are just a bastard. You are just a bastard. So we say from the other side of Africa, the phrase, "Can't you see the writing on the wall?" started when the great ancestors of Kush started inscribing the words of nature on the wall. So it is called glyphics today, hieroglyphics. But for them to disconnect you from your ancestry, there's such a thing called Rosetta Stone that was stolen from Africa there that will help you to decode. That looks like a lexical library, which from it you can interpret originally the meaning of those writings on the wall. Whenever you see a word that is filled with writings, inscription, and all that, and next to it is a word that is blank, it is to show you that here in this era and this dispensation, there is nothing new you need to learn. It has already been taught before. So they refer you back to the previous one. And until we begin to now go back to basics, it may not be all right. Somebody was asking that, what was the Yoruba's original writing? Unfortunately, the alphabet that was created for us, the Yoruba people, it's not the original alphabet. As a matter of fact, it was not alphabet at all. How I wish we can explore villages and meet our grannies, our grandmothers, our grandfathers. What you call today tattoo, which is an expression of maybe what you like, your innermost passion, your innermost language, you express it with the words of nature. by drawing lion, birds, and all that on your body. It's nothing new. It is called Meduneta, the way the Egyptians inscribe stuff on the wall. Just that you inscribe it on your skin now. But long before the days of tattoo, in Western Africa here, the Western Akabula, if you happen to meet, I'm blessed with several grandmothers. And my best companions are people who are even older than my own mother. So he who walk with the wise will be wise. The companion of the fools will be utterly vanished. When they open their hand to you, something like their arm, their hand, and all that, you see some inscriptions on it. You will see some inscriptions on it. Those inscriptions does not carry ABDAFEGB. It is rare for you not to see the Odu on their body. It is very rare. The Odu, the binary code, the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, in different forms. And it goes in different slanting. Sometimes you go, vertical, sometimes horizontal. There is a meaning to this. These things are the original language you speak here. It is the people of modern age that sees Oduology as something fantastic. So because somebody knows how to interpret Odu, automatically you think that they are more spiritual than you are. And the sacredness of African spirituality, especially of Yoruba people, is one of the most shady spiritual practice you can ever imbibe. You know why? Because some people have created religion out of it. And so they don't make it available for public consumption or easy digestion. Are you with me? It's going to upset you. That's my profession, to upset you. The little time I have to spend with you guys, I guess you should hear the truth now. Now, these inscriptions, you will see it in the body of your grandmothers, your grandfathers, the ancient ones. When you try to also collect it together, it is not different from the Odu. It's not different from the Odu. And then you realize that everything means something. It has nothing to do with the alphabet, A or A, B or Ba. No. There's a way they read it. In the extreme case, they even have tattoos of birds, of rat, of snail, of all those animals, all those things, which you now categorize as non-living things today, in their body to supplement the Odu that has been inscribed in their body. The concept of Oduology even go beyond having it in hidden places as a form of writing, because then you are not fit to be in society of mankind. If you have not done your akosejaye, you are be seen as a misfit. So it is a stamping. What is this person's lot, life script? What is this person's purpose in life? So those things are done when they are still at infant. It was at the infant level that they now inscribe their Odu in their hand. It is easy for you to see a person and easily interpret, okay, this person is an alagbede, a blacksmith. If it is easy for you to know, okay, this one is going to be a trader. So when a trader is coming to seek employment in blacksmith, we tell them, no, that is your Odu to Tewaye, because it is on their body, somewhere they can easily see. So instead of you creating certificates of these days, you know what they create then? They create those inscriptions in the body of people. So what you show when you go to get a job, when you want to move into a city, when you want to do something, is your arm, this part of your body. And it is already there. You don't need a babalawo to now interpret it for you. It is there. Everybody knows it. It was a common knowledge. And uncommon knowledge is what they call miracle these days. It is because you don't know that you are being fooled. Are you getting the point? I'm getting there. And now go beyond that part to begin to now talk about the kind of family you came from. Your family, your origin. the purpose of your origin, the kind of tribal mark. Tribal mark does not exceed the inscription of the Odu. It is the same Odu, our writing system here. Either you do it like this, there is something this thing is passing across. Are you getting my point? This Odu that is being put on your body, there is something is passing across. It's either telling us your family, where you came from, the duty of the family. The people that are supposed to be the entertainer of the town, the way they do their own is different from those who are into the justice system, different from those who are into the equity system, different from the warriors. Everybody have their role to play in the society. There was no need for federal government, local government, this government, and all these politics. People fall in line according to what has been inscribed on them, having checked the universe to know their purpose. So the Odu is a compression of several long messages. Odu is a compression of several long messages that can only be decoded if you have the knowledge of it. And unfortunately, the knowledge used to be plenty and many, like the water in the sea. It was later that the whole thing began alphabet. It was because they want to convince you. They gave you what we call not even a low-level language. They gave you a no level language. Oh, no level. You don't have level. You think wisdom is what I'm saying because you can hear what I'm saying. You need to see where this is coming from. It is not coming from the perspective of English language, Yoruba language, and all that. It was undiluted and raw. The state of the mind of a man is subjected to interpretation that is basically on spiritual testing and mining. Are you getting the point? There's a lot you have missed. And then a lot of people will not tell you these things. Now, it now became something of great importance that those who have little understanding or peek into that Odu system, they suddenly are now being worshipped. So somebody, because you know Odu, there is a difference between Odu, no understanding of Odu, and spiritual gifting. Odu may reveal yourself to you, but if you don't embrace that yourself, you are wasting your life, not even time. You don't have a life at all. And I will never stop telling you, no one is more gifted than the other. Anybody can kill me for that. Anybody can say anything. No one is more gifted than the other. You are not just serious with yours. You get what I said? Not one single human being is more gifted than you. You are the one that is not serious with your gift. So when people now put mind and time to understand their gifting and embrace themselves, it is the time they have invested in to understand themselves that you pay for. No one is more gifted than you. You are as complete as the universe itself. You are as powerful as the universe itself. So today, we were asking, what is your understanding of the Oturupon Meji? In Oturupon Meji Ifa, we also call it Ologbon Meji. Ologbon Meji. Gbọ́nà tí fágbà tó fi ń jẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ó ní ọlọ́gbọ́n kan ò ta kókó omi sétí aṣọ rí. Ọ̀mọ̀ràn kan ò mọ eye yẹ̀pẹ̀ ilẹ̀. Adé fún bàbá arúgbó tó lọ lè dífá pé kóun má jìyà wọn láyé. Wọ́n ní kó gbéra ńlẹ̀ ẹbọ ni kó rú kó ṣe. onírú ẹbọ oní kóhun rú kóhun ṣe. Ọ̀rúnmìlà ní ìgbọ́ràn gangan lẹbọ rírú o, nítorí bí baba arúgbó bá rúbọ á jìyà, bí baba arúgbó ò rúbọ á tún jìyà, ṣùgbọ́n kó jìyà kékeré kó má bàa jẹ ńlá. This is not the first time you hear this from me. I'm amazed a lot of people are not getting it. We'll be going back to the comment section on Telegram to announce the one who is close to this explanation. Like I said before, Oturupon Meji is talking about Ologmo Meji, two wise men, two wise women, two wise people. It can be men, it can be women, it can be man and woman. Ọ̀nà tí gbàgbà tó fi ń jẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. How the whole thing started, this is it. Adíá fún Baba Arúgbó, the divination of Baba Arúgbó literally means an old man. Who is this old man? The old man is Ọbàtálá Ọbàtásà, ọba takuntakun òde ìrànjí ọ̀mọ̀mọ̀ tí mọrí ẹ̀dá. Ọbàtálá is also known as Òrìṣà Ńlá. This is the letter of your ancestors to you. Òrìṣà Ńlá. Are you taking note? We call Ọbàtálá Òrìṣà Ńlá also because we felt he is the oldest of all this. If at all you identify as a Yoruba person and you believe in this way of life, who should be your ancestor? The greatest ancestor is not Oduduwa, it should be Ọbàtálá. Or sometimes the story can be very dicey. Because Ògún làkárí ayé, Ọ̀ṣì Ìmọ̀lẹ̀ was supposed to be the one who paved way for other Orisha. So if Ọbàtálá had come before Ògún, how did he find his way? Think about it. Or we talk about Ọbàtálá in terms of his longevity of life. He really stayed. Briefly, you will say, I think we have our own version of Methuselah. The one who lived much longer out of all these ancestors. Ọbàtálá. We also call him Baba Arúgbó because several other ancestors came to meet him alive, and then because he's wiser than them and all that, so they call him Baba Arúgbó, Baba Arúgbó. He went for divination because he doesn't want to suffer in life. Are you with me? If you are with me, let me get some yes. He went for divination because he really doesn't want to suffer in life. He said, you shouldn't have to wait. Stand up. You have to make sacrifice. He asked, what kind of sacrifice am I going to make? They say, Baba Arúgbó, the only sacrifice there is obedience. This is telling so many of you. You don't listen to simple instruction. Wake up midnight, say this and that. You will say because you want to sleep midnight, you will do it before midnight. Or you wake up in the morning and say, oh, you're off. What makes you get healthy having visited hospital? Is it obedience to the prescription or the medication? Baba Arúgbó was told, do not because you are older than anybody on this planet for now, say you will not obey, because obedience is sacrifice. It's talking about your age. It does not matter when you approach a person who knows more than you. You will keep your age to yourself. Age is just a reminder of the day you die. They say, calm down. That Odu is telling us about controlling your pride. Control your pride. Do not be ashamed to seek for help, even if you are older than the one who can help you. They now said, Baba Arugbo, the only sacrifice is obedience. Obedience. Orunmila said, Baba Arugbo, Ojeya o, Oloro mo. Iwo Baba Arugbo, Otu Jeya. That if you make sacrifice, you will suffer. If you don't make sacrifice, you will suffer. They say, suffer a little so that you don't suffer so much. Some of you are not waiting to pass through the day of your little beginnings. You want to jump ladder. You want to jump ladder. No wise person will not water at the hem of their garment. No matter how knowledgeable you are, you will not be able to know how many sands, grain of sands, is by the seashore. Say, calm down. Because obedience is your only sacrifice. Irrespective of the sacrifice you make in life, you will suffer. However, even you have control over your suffering. Suffer the days of your little beginning so that you don't crash down in the days of your big ending. Baba Arugbo said, Orunmila, I understand you. But me, suffer and it's down. Do you know me? Even the king of the town cannot inflict injury or try to mess with me. Because I know his father, I know his father's father, I know his greatest grandfather. They were my own mate. He is not man. He dare not. So no matter what I do in this town, nobody can suffer me. Orunmila said, Baba ẹ má pè Fálékè, ẹ má pè Èṣù lólè, ẹ má wọ̀run yànyànyàn bí ẹni tí ò kú mọ́, torí ẹni tó bá rúbọ lọ̀rẹ́ Èṣù. Say, don't make this way of life, this divination, a liar. Don't say Èṣù is a thief. Don't look up to the sky and say, I will never die again. Saying never say never. The link between us and the ancient age is one man, one woman who can give us effective interpretation to all these ideologies. And you realize that you don't need to go to church or mosque as African before you feel normal or approach righteousness. Baba Orunmila speaking. It will be better if you approach obedience as your only sacrifice. Some of you have been told, do not eat catfish. It is then that catfish is your best meal. Humankind are the only species on earth that have no interest in a thing until you tell them not to have interest in that thing. They will have no interest in prostitution until you tell them not to do prostitution. They will have no interest in drinking much water until you tell them not to drink much water. Everything you tell humankind to, the reverse mentality. Everything you say don't do, that's when they want to do it. For instance, if I say don't think about water, you are thinking about water. Baba Arugbo, for the next 17 days, don't go out in the night. That is Orunmila speaking to Baba Arugbo. Baba Arugbo, For the next 17 days, do not go out in the night. Well, normally an older person should not go out in the night because maybe they are sight, they are fidgeting, they are fretting, and all that. Abarugbo said, me. Who will say I'm not enough important? Who will hold me if I decide to go out in the night? Oromila said, Baba ẹ jẹ ìyà kékeré kẹ́ má bàa jẹ ńlá. Torí bẹ́ẹ̀ bá rúbọ ẹ jìyà, bẹ́ẹ̀ bá rúbọ ẹ jìyà. Remember, your only sacrifice is obedience. Baba said, no problem. You are saying your own. A lot of you have been to several places. The same thing they keep telling you, you keep, avoiding and bailing off. The problem persists. Some people will be told, pick a blade right now, scrape your hair right now. They'll say, I've been growing this dreadlock for several years. I can't cut my hair. So the problem persists. Some might have been told, you cannot marry someone who is fair in complexion. That's when they'll be looking for someone who is fair. Even if their wife is dark, they will give her money to bleach. Someone has been told, leave that husband of yours, else you will lose your life. Until they die, they did not realize. They say God hates divorce. Many men have been told also. Many people in Africa have been told, do not move out of Africa. That's when they start looking for how to get their passport and move out. You have been abroad right now. You are a slave abroad. You are a fugitive at home. So Babarubo said, you have said your own. It's not your fault. It's me that carried myself to you to come and do divination. Sorry if I'm not messing with your head. Give me a yes. Am I making sense to you? Does it make sense? Is this explanation better? So Babarubo decided to then the consequences. On the first day, Babarubo went out. In the night, he came back. On the second day, Babarubo went out. In the night, on the third day, the same thing. Fourth day, seventh day, the same thing. So you just felt like it's normal now, no problem. He sent one his servant to Oromila and said, Oromila, Ojuwatio, I should be ashamed of yourself. That since you have been making divination, nothing has ever gone wrong. But this one, when they tell you what will happen, they are not telling you what will happen tomorrow. They are telling you what will happen in the future. I remember one very popular celebrity in Nigeria reached out to me for divination. And I carried out the divination because they are celebrity couple. When I saw the divination, I said, I'm sorry, but this thing, there's a problem. I said, there's a problem. One has to leave the other. There's no name the person did not call me that time. Talking about this celebrity. There's no name. Maybe she felt I wanted to marry her. Maybe that I'm not interested. Not that we have met before. 95% of people who have helped out with this way of life, I've not met them before. Not that I touched their body or something. So they went on. Or more. It was in the news that I saw it. That this man has been having intercourse with the lady's stepdaughter. The thing was so bad, he is now having intercourse with his own children. It was when this busted out that the celebrity now started saying that the guy always beat him beat her at least twice a week. Several other dangerous stories that came out of it. Meanwhile, they didn't tell me about their story before. I just knew somebody would die for somebody to live. And on the day the woman discovered this, she shouted the guy strangled her until somebody came in. She would have died. Even though she came back to me to say, Baba, sorry, and all that, what you said is true and all that. I have nothing more to tell such people because I don't like people who waste my time. You will pay for divination, but it's also a waste of time if you are not going to see it through. It takes a lot of strength for me to make divination. That girl, Choromila, also confused her. What is the matter? But what I'm saying is that this man should not go out, especially in the night. This is 7 nights is going on. Unknowingly to two of them, somebody has been stealing, robbing people every night. So the king of the land had given instruction to the vigilante that whoever you see walking in midnight, before you imprison the person, first beat the person to stupor. Beat them seriously. On the 8th day, Baba Arubo, as usual, overconfidence, ego, walked out. So the vigilantes, they saw him. There's no dignity in darkness. Nobody knows who you are or what you are. They saw a figure walking, they beat, mashed him up. Locked him up. Informed the king, we caught somebody last night. They didn't know the person they caught. In the morning, the king rushed to the palace and said, go and bring that thief. From the prison, be beating him to the palace. When these people got to the prison, even they were shaken. You know what? They realized that it was Baba Arubo that they beat to stupor. They beat him to pulp. He was looking like a non-living thing, about to die. In shaking mode, they went to the palace to tell King, King, problem has started. Baba Arubo is the one in prison. Who dares to beat Baba Arubo? Tam jẹ́ gbéná wojú ẹkùn láti na Baba Arubo tó ju bàbá wa lọ. Abá wọn láyé ni. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ sì ti fi hàn lẹ̀. Àṣìṣe ò máa gbàlagbà o. Anybody can fumble at any time. So lower your ego. So the fact that you are older than the person does not mean they cannot give you instruction that will pay you. And if people refuse to listen, just let them be. Face the consequence. I just have a policy. When the consequence starts, don't near me. So the king also rushed to the prison. Baba, what are you doing here? Everybody was mesmerized. Baba Arugbo has never cried before in his life. That was the first day he cried, with bitterness in his heart. Nobody else can help them to plead to Baba but Orunmila. They called for Orunmila, who is also old on his own. Kò sẹ́ni tó gbọ́n tó Baba Arugbo nù yìí. Nobody is as wise as Baba Arugbo in this town. Ẹni tí a tún mọ̀ tó tún gbọ́n, òun náà l'Ọ̀rúnmìlà. Baba gbọ́n ní règún. The other person we know that is also wise is Orunmila. Let us pitch a wise man against another. Let us pitch a wise man against another man. Ọlọ́gbọ́n Meji. You see where he's coming up? When Orunmila got there, he was just laughing. Ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ ti gorí ìrókò, ojú ọdẹ ti dá. Toro dojú alẹ́ báyìí, kábùké tó mọ̀ pọ̀ ọmọ kọ́ lòun pọ̀n. À ń sọ fún un, ó ní ká fòun lẹ̀. Tó bá dojú alẹ́ yóò mọ̀ pọ̀. Ọlọ́mbrẹ́là ó mọ̀ pẹ́rù lòun rù ń gbò bá dojú alẹ́. May you not cry a bitter tears. May the melody of regret not be a music for you to dance to. Every situation that will require you to utter the word "had I known," may you not find yourself, may you not walk into it with your two legs. They are warning you. Obedience is the only sacrifice. Orunmila now said, Baba ṣe rántí Oturupon méjì tó yọ lójú ọpọ́n lọ́jọ́ sí. Pọ́lọ́gbọ́n kan ò ta kókó omi sétí aṣọ rí, ọ̀mọ̀ràn kan ò mọyé yẹ̀pẹ̀lẹ̀. Seek other people's counsel too. You are not all wise. You don't know as much as you think you know until you realize what you don't know doesn't know you also. Because when ignorance doesn't know ignorance, ignorance will do ignorance. And in ignorance, death is sure. Seek counsel. Seek counsel. It is not difficult to not make mistake in life. You only need to consider the past questions. When I was in the university, I would not go home during the break. No, I finished my syllabus back and forth like 5 times before the exam. But what helped me most to be able to solve all the situations, even though I'm required to solve 4, is that I go as far back as 5 years past questions. You cannot set exam outside the syllabus for me. And you must have asked the question before. There is not the concept of nothing new under the sun is applicable to individual lives. So I always go to the examination all confident. What are you doing that someone has not done before? Ilé kí ló kọ́ tẹ́nìkan ò tí ì kọ́ rí. Bèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó ti kọ́ síwájú ẹ̀ báwo ni wọ́n ṣe kọ́. Yóò rọrùn fún ọ. Ẹṣin wájú ni tẹ̀yìn wò sáré. What business do you want to go into that someone has not tried before? Ask those who failed. Don't stay there. Ask those who succeed. Compare notes. You will never go wrong. Which country do you want to move to that someone has not moved to from your own origin before? Ask those who survived there and those who failed there. You will never go wrong. The problem of most people is to consider ignorance as inspiration. I said again, the problem of most people is to consider ignorance, arrogance, egocentric lifestyle as inspiration. They give themselves different kind of names. Human rights activists. I hate to be cheated. They call themselves all sorts of names. Ignorance constantly make you a joker in the eyes of men. And the moment you become a joker, you have crowd. The moment you become a joker, go and look at your life. Go and look at your life. How many crowd watches you? Nobody watch you in amusement when you are not a joker. Only a jester, a joker, an entertainer gather crowd. When you are serious-minded, you have where to go. Especially when you don't lie, people will not like you. Orumila now told Baba Arugbo, Baba, ṣé really aye? Ṣé really aye aberi? Can you see? We are telling you, you are doing as if because you are older than everybody you can. We said, suffer a little so that you don't suffer much. And we told you that the only sacrifice is obedience. What is the little suffer? The little suffering is for Baba Arugbo to stay put at home. Obedience can be very inconvenient. Don't let nobody deceive you. What did I say? Obedience can be very inconvenient. It is not in your physical nature to obey. But in order to tame yourself, you listen to the higher self, which is called Ori. Ori will always make you do contrary to what your flesh wants to do. Obedience is not. Baba ó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ jókòó sílé ni o, kẹ́ ẹ jẹ̀yà kékeré, kẹ́ ẹ má bàa jẹ ńlá. What does it cost Baba Arugbo to stay at home for 17 days? Not in the day, during the day, but during the night. Wọ́n ní o má ṣe, o ṣe, ẹni bá ṣe là ń ṣe hàn. Baba could not say anything. He was just crying. He was just crying. Filled with regret. The king was begging Baba. The guards were begging Baba. The vigilantes were begging Baba. The only person who is laughing is Oromila. Anything that will make those who once love you to laugh at you, don't do it. Because it is the joy of a person to know that he told you ahead. Now you say no. And you do not deserve sympathy from someone who saw ahead of you to warn you, and you refuse. Be the basi budget not only the ninda. When you begin to face the consequences, you realize that there is problem in your life. Because if we say don't do this so that you don't have a headache, if you do it and you have a headache, who will feel the pain is you. This applies to every area of our lives. You don't know it all. And it is an aberration, a great error, for you to have a predetermined response you are expecting from someone, or for you to gauge people's wisdom by the way they look. It is an aberration and human error for you to expect certain things from people according to their age, their social status, their levels, their financial capability. Most of you do it. Only rich people like you can talk to you and listen. Poor people don't have sense to you. Only people who wear tie and suit and speak in tongue can speak to you and you listen. People who wear native cannot speak to you. Only people who wear native all the time, looking like effigy, are babalawo to you. People who wear something like this, they don't make sense. Only those who come from your family lineage are pure. Other people are animals. Only people who came from your race are good. Other race are inferior. Only people who have your skin color are perfect to be called human. Other people are not. You are killing yourself slowly. You don't know it. Isolation is the beginning of depreciation. Isolation, the beginning of depreciation. The moment you begin to now consider yourself isolated, I'll round up with this little story. It will also buttress this. They call this man Mr. Do Good. Many of you must have heard. Mr. Do Good. It was so good. And you know good people can't make heaven. If there's heaven, good people are nothing made for heaven. Why did I say good people cannot? They don't have joy. They say heaven is a place where there is joy, no sorrow. Good people don't have joy. Can somebody ask me why before I explain? Why did I say so? Why did I say that good people don't have joy? Because good people will always compare other people to themselves, but exonerate themselves from other people. They have a new name for it now. They call it perfectionist. If everybody use bottle to drink water, it is not perfect. It has to be their own way. If you help them to wash clothes, it is not clean until they wash it themselves. If you serve them food, it is not sweet until they cook it themselves. Good people. If you are trying to hold discussion, if it is not their own opinion that is reigning, it is not sensible. Good people. They are too good for this world. They just have to die now. And I said again, good people are just too good to be human. You don't need to be good. All you have to do is to be considerate. They do not believe that it is awesome, good, until they are the one who started and finished it. They don't know how to delegate, so they work themselves to death. They don't know how to share their space, so they live constantly in loneliness, abject loneliness. They don't know how to appreciate little things or even laugh over things that are hilarious because, it is not them making the joke. So they live in constant sorrow. Good people are not fit for it. They should just die. But they want to make heaven. But they say heaven is for, people who are. So there was a man called Mr. Dogood. Mr. Dogood, nothing you can do that is good to him is so good. Or if it is not him, it is not good. If you marry people like that, if you marry people like Good and Mr. Good, you are dead. You will be frustrated. You will still divorce. If you marry people, if you work with a person, if your supervisor at work is Mr. Good, you can never make it. You can never make it. No way. Because he will frustrate your life. So everyone else is a sinner except Mr. Dogood. Everyone else. So in this earth, he was constantly living with sadness. His life was messy. No one is fit to sit with him in the same place. So he died. Mr. Dogood. He died and went to heaven. Let's appeal to the emotions of the Christians now. He now saw Angel Peter and Angel Paul. Imagine they exist. Angel Peter and Paul. The one is smoking a bow actually. The other one is drinking shekwe. They are the gate of heaven. So Mr. Dogood got there and said, What in the name of Yahweh is going on here? How can you people? Are you not Paul? Is this not Peter? You are smoking a body, so no. So this Mr. Dogood feels that because he doesn't smoke, everyone that smoke deserve to die. He felt like because he doesn't drink alcohol, those who drink alcohol, they are condemned in life. Mr. Dogood felt like because he is an heterosexual, those who are homosexual, they can never make it. Everything that he is not is bad. If you are exactly like him, is good. Unfortunately, you will not be able to be like him because he is the only one that is good. So he started lambasting. How can you people? What is it? Oh, I must speak to God. Eh? We've been here for eternity. Báyé gbàgbó tiwa àti ọtí tiwa rè báwa ṣe ń gbàgbó tiwa lẹ́nu ọ̀nà lẹ́nu bodè ọ̀run rẹ̀. This is how we smoke our this and this one drink. How do you think somebody will stay in one spot for eternity without adding extra energy? We need this thing for the road. They said, is it God you are looking for in heaven or a place that you will go and rest? I said, no problem. Give me my place. When God is passing by one day, I will now report you guys. They said, no problem. So they checked the book of life. When they checked the book of life, they now begin to say, Oga, oh no, you are too good for this heaven. No. That the houses and the palaces we built in this heaven, they are not for good people. We are called people, houses, our location, according to the level of their sin. Oga, 10 bad deeds will earn you that small house there. 9 bad deeds will earn you this one that is a little bit bigger than it. 8 bad deeds will earn you this one that is upgraded. Until they go to the at least one bad deed, just one bad deed will earn you the biggest palace in heaven. Are you telling me I wasted my life? I spent my life being good, holy. There's a song we used to sing when I was a Christian. I was jokingly singing it the other time. Will you permit me to sing it? He said, Lord, prepare me a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, with thanksgiving. I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Sanctuary called mortuary ni. Eh? He said he has lived all his life being good. Will you do this to me? Are you serious? I said, there's no way we can help you. This is the rule here. Heaven is made for humans, not good people. We did not create humans so they will be holy. We created them so they will be inclusive. Stop living life as if you are training to take up appointment in hellfire. Stop living life as if you want to take up Secretary General of the Hellfire Federation. Everything, play small. Be bad a little. Be bad a little. So, they said, no problem. We'll give you a chance. You'll go back to the world. When you get back to the world, at least commit one bad deed. Just one. Just one. When you come back, you'll be able to enter the biggest one as a compensation. Your body is yet to be discovered as dead. Go into it. So he went into his body. He realized when he came back to life that there is one Ramota. There is a Ramota in the corner who is old. Ramota is about 45 years old. Single. Purely virgin. Purely virgin. Who has been eyeing Mr. Do Good to come and do. Ramota felt, I will not give my body to anyone except this man. He has been good. So Mr. Good took his clothes, went to Ramota's house. Ko. Ramota opened house. Remember that you've been telling me to come and do? I'm ready to do it now. Ramota was so happy. Drag him inside. They did the needful, and then He dressed up. He felt to himself he doesn't want to die there. He dressed up, about to leave. Ramota now called Mr. Dogu and said, "You don't know how much good you have done to me today." Eh? Another good deed? I was restored to life so that I can commit one bad thing. And this thing I called bad thing happens to be also good in your own sight. Hell straight. Good people cannot make heaven. But you don't know how much good deed you have done to me. It's not even one. It's how much is unquantifiable. What you have done to me is good. And the man got frustrated. Are you telling me I'm incapable of doing bad? When he died again and got back, with great muzzle and frustration, Angel Peter and Angel Raphael, or ever Angel Paul, sentenced him to hell. Stop living life as if you are trying to take up appointment in hell. Do not be too good in your own eyes. Do not think you are all wise. Do not think no one can talk to you. Do not think you are the limitation of knowledge and you are the ending of all understanding. People that know better than you exist. La fi pé ọmọdé gbọ́n àgbà gbọ́n la fi dálé Ifẹ̀. Afọgbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n ṣọgbọ́n kẹ̀dẹ̀rẹ́ ni ò jẹ́ ká pàgbà níwèrè. Are you also learning from others? When you learn from them, do you sample the opinion, effectively filter it, and apply it judiciously? Or you are Mr. Do Good or Orishala that felt like they are the only one who is wise in their eyes. So many of your husbands, you don't listen to the counsel of your wives. Look at where you are right now. So many of your wives. It is one thing to you to listen to counsel. It is another thing to listen to good counsel. Ọ̀nà kan ṣe alẹ́ ayé gbé o. Ẹnìkan ò lè dálé ayé gbé. O ò dẹ̀ lè dálé ayé ṣe. That is the basic interpretation of Oturupon Meji. The Oturupon Meji now start with, if you are using binary code, you have 0 on the right hand, 0 on the left hand, 0 on the right hand, 0 on the left hand, 1 on the right hand, 1 on the left hand, 0 on the right hand, 0 on the left hand. So the right read 0010. The left also read 0010. In order, in our traditional way, the 0 is 2. 2 Lord Kebai. The 1 is still 1. The binary code. 0 is 2 and 1 is 1. Ajushe fún wa o, ayewa kalẹ̀ o. Aborubo yo, aboyi bo ṣiṣẹ́ o. I'm going to be taking your questions now, but then I will also try to read the answers we got from the earlier post. Alesuni 36 saying Babarugo is Obatala, and Obatala is the elder among other Orisha. This Odu teach us that in everything we are doing, we should learn to act more and react less. Reacting based on the ways of others lead to misfortune. Okay, you got the fact that Babarugo is Obatala, but your explanation about the Odu is not what we are looking for. It's Chris Nat saying, normally Babarugo is old and he can't really make much money before he die. So now to avoid big suffering, he should just offer sacrifice and then he won't have money, but he won't suffer until his death is here. Meaning, we are going to die, even the wisest person on earth will die. But we should all make effort not to suffer in the life before our death. All right, you really did not go into what we are talking about. Olokun Israel is saying, Baba Arubo is me and you, and any other spiritual being having human experience. All right. So this is a good application, but you did not really explain it, but you are close to the answer. Divine Touch Farm is saying you are all copying my answer. Okay, I don't know your answer. So this person did not say much, just good joking. Dwayne Capitono is saying Odu is a predefined code defined before what you are configured to do before arriving. Okay, so this person is just explaining something else. Okay, Jeffries is saying no shortcuts, face all challenges, and don't try to find quick means, because if you no one suffer, you go still suffer. Better to face your fears or problem, suffer small, than cut corners that will lead to a big suffer. All right, so Jeffries is quite close to the answer. This is the first answer we are picking. Let's see if we have more interesting one than that. Yinka Official is saying Babarubo is that person that tried to run faster than his or her shadow. Mm, 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 mm. It's one aspect of the explanation. Jeffries is still leading. Ogbuato Iwure Iwofun. Sign Veroni saying life is not without suffering. Yeah. Even when you are obedient and at the highest level of yourself, you go through discomfort, confusion, doubt, and so on. But being disobedient is what makes a person suffer misfortune. That does not belong to him, he suffer a whole lot more. So whether a person obeys or not, he will suffer, but the amount of suffering really depends on it. Obedience here include sacrifice. Wow. This is another leading answer that is beyond the Jeffries. So we are going to be picking Saint Verone for now as the leading answer. So I am Adoni Wealth. He's saying the Odu means Babarubo should not be wiser than his destiny. Is being calm to Obatala is Babarubo. It's quite close, but it's quite cool, very cool, very close. But Saint Veroni, Saint Veroni is actually explanatory, something quite close to what I just discussed today. So so we don't know what we should do now. What should we do now? Who are we giving the 10,000 naira? I'm reading from the Instagram. Those in the ash, you are not in touch with it this morning. So what should we do now? Do we give it to Saint Veroni? Or I am Adoni Wealth? Okay, I think there's something here. Saint Veroni explained the Odu, but did not tell us who is Babarubo. So I think I am Adoni Wealth was the one who spoke about Babarubo, even though her answer was short. Yet the answer was short, but she said it is Babarubo, or Batala is Babarubo. The Odu means Babarubo should not be wiser than his destiny. It must be calm. Let me compare that with Jay-Z Freeze. Okay, Jay Freeze saying no shortcut, face all challenges and don't try to find quick means, because if you don't want to suffer, okay. Jay Freeze said explanation also, but Jay Freeze did not. Jay Freeze did not say Obatala is Babarubo. The only person who said Obatala is Babarubo and then one should not be wiser than their destiny, which contains a lot, is I am Adoni Wealth. So I don't think I'm going to share the money equally. I'm just going to give the money to I am Adoni Wealth. I am Adoni Wealth, we have the money. So we will just tell her to send a DM whenever she sees this message. Send your account into DM so that we can give you the money. All right, so that's going to be about it for this particular interpretation of Oturupon. And I'm using the medium also to invite you to register your words, your children, even yourself, for our new masterclass, Introduction to Orisha Lifestyle, where you'll be learning extensively about the Erintilogun, the 16 Odu, the Erintilogun. You can check our Instagram page for more detail regarding how to make registration and the cost of registration. You'll be able to understand Erintilogun, and then you will not need your pastor again. You will not also need your imam again. You will be completing yourself as African child to know what to do and know what to do. Thank you very much and for being part of this particular broadcast today. Ojú yín á ríre o, orí yín á pèrè wálé o, ìṣẹ̀dá ò ní takò yín o, ẹ ò ní ṣorígbé o, ẹ ò ní kábàámọ̀ o, ẹ ò ní tìka àbámọ̀ bẹ̀nu.